The focus of today's episode is the wrap up of the London Wine Fair. We have been to many fairs this year, didn't we? Like Pro Wine, Vin Italy, and usually there was a small corner for alcohol free stuff. But London Wine Fair had quite a big focus compared to the rest of the fair on alcohol free drinks. And we thought we will use episode number 11. By the way, Isabel, you missed our little anniversary episode number 10.
I know.
But you're back again, even though you are in Portugal at the moment. So welcome back. And we will wrap up London Wine Fair, talk about some interesting products and the categories that have been in place. Have fun with the episode. Welcome, 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 you curious people, no boozers, and wine lovers, to the 11th episode of Double O, your alcohol-free podcast on non-alcoholic drinks in the podcast universe. Bella, you're in Portugal. How are you?
I couldn't be better actually because it's so sunny outside. It's perfect. It's like a dreamy workation destination, and everyone who's ever been to Lisbon will know that it's just beautiful. Like the small streets, the view everywhere you go. You have like this San Francisco hills view. Like you can always see the ocean from everywhere. And so yeah. And I've heard that in Germany it's really
Wet.
drowning in water. So I don't want to change with anyone at the moment. How are you? I mean, you've been to England, just the country that is usually famous for being very rainy.
Yes. England had 5 months of rain, and right now they're looking forward to some better weather. And I don't know if it's me personally, but usually when I come to England, I bring the good weather with me. And I did a post on social media saying traditional English weather when I'm here and it's always sunny. I had the worst sunburns of my life in England the last couple of years. So I don't know. They invited me for autumn and winter to bring the good weather again. But usually it's
You're going to save the harvest. How did you
probably.
did you talk to the winemakers, and are they fearing any problems with the harvest or challenges due to the weather?
Not at the moment. I mean, of course, it depends on where you are located and how your soil might be. They have free draining soils in many parts of the lower country. So even though it was raining a lot, they were able to manage the rain in a good way. It's been drying out. They didn't have any issues with late frost or hail. When you compare this to Germany or to France, very bad was happening. England was lucky enough to pass on that, and they're looking forward to a good summer, I guess. I mean, what can you say at the moment? They have just pruned and yeah, starting into the season. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. And I'm really so excited about everything that you're going to tell us today, because we didn't really speak about the London Wine Fair and your experiences. So, guys, I'm as excited and curious as you are. And I really hope that we will get some great new insights into the non alcoholic world and low alcoholic world from you today.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. And I was a bit sad in place because I realized that this was, for me personally, the fair for experimenting with good alcohol-free products. And not only talking about de-alcoholized wine, but beer, soda, spritzes, all this kind of stuff. And we talked about being at Pro Wine together and weren't able to do this together. Then we went to Vin Italy together and realized Italy might not be the country to discover alcohol-free wines at the moment. But this was the fair, and I was there for 3 days, and I guess 2 days I spent only on alcohol-free products, and it was way smaller, less people, so you were able to have longer conversations with the people at the stands. I met some influencers from the space, from the area, from Club Soda. I talked to Camille, who is the influencer in alcohol-free products. She started in 2016 talking about alcohol-free drinks and stuff. And many people of them are like down to earth, open-minded. They like to chat with each other. It's not this wine industry thing where you need your elbows and you tell everybody your house, your car, your boat, and whatever you have. It's more about like, what is your experience? How would you see that? There were interesting panels at the fair and talking about the future of the industry in general, sparkling wine, still wine, tank method, for example, for England. And they also had two panels talking about alcohol-free issues, products, and the future of the market. And that was basically the panel for me. Because even though there was this article in the New York Times we talked about recently that said, when it comes to high quality alcohol-free wine, Germany is the market because Germany has a long tradition, long experience with alcohol-free wine. Nevertheless, when it comes to um, the availability of different products from all over the world and marketing it to or selling it to people, to customers, I would say England is ahead of Germany. Just looking at this fair
Mm.
and the products that were there, I had the feeling that this is there's more options, especially put it like this, more options to buy products like that.
And I also get the feeling, not only from what you are saying now, but also from what I see on Instagram or when you just tap into the sober, curious world on the internet, that there are more people generally influencing the space or active in this space. Why do you think that is? Is it maybe because the UK has also a history of drinking a lot, and therefore many people also discovered the downsides of drinking and then decided to do something against it or change their lifestyle and create a movement? Or how would you explain that? Maybe also from the mm, arguments or reasons from those people on why they started their business.
Generally, I would say that England is a market where much more is happening, where people are way more open-minded towards products such as bag-in-box, cans, different sizes of bottles, and also not super romanticizing specific products. I mean, they love wine, but in a different way. They have a different price range, and the access to, let's say, the lower price products, not only in wine, but also beer and spirits, is much easier. And they don't combine it super high tradition, high sophistication. So when you look at wine, of course, I mean, England usually produces high quality. I often compare the region of England to Alto Adige, where you say at least you have a general quality level, and then only up. And there is no shitty stuff, at least at the moment. Fortunately, it stays like that. But when it comes to the customers, they are interested in cheap beer, in cheap wine, and in cheap spirits, and they drink a lot of that. And of course, they had an issue with alcohol in the last years, and they still have. When you listen to people in the industry, nevertheless, it's easier to put products without alcohol in the market because of the issue, because the people are more open-minded. They want to try out things. I have the feeling that they are more curious, and that
Mm.
the people entering the market, like companies, startups, they can be braver compared to traditional markets such as Germany, where wine is still seen
France.
as the super fancy product, or France, where you need a cork on every shitty €2 bottle. Yeah, or in Italy, where if it doesn't have at least 10 alcohol, nobody is interested in it. It's there. England is just a better market, and of course, they also are more into this D2C thing. They know what a wine club is. They are interested in having subscriptions on drinks, not only on wine, on beer, but the biggest clubs in Europe are in the UK. Wine 52, beer 52. I don't know. I guess the beer club has 100,000 subscribers, and the wine club 40,000. And then there's other clubs. You have Club Soda, you have the Jomo Club. So this is focused on alcohol-free drinks, and they have hundreds of people that are subscribed to those products because people know the concept, they understand it, and they are also willing to pay euros for a kind of a surprise package that you receive every single month or every 3 months or whatever. So there's more chances.
Yeah, but it also takes time to build that trust
Sure.
in the products. And what I also found was that there are a lot of these communities or brands that are also selling merchandise, so caps and tops and bags, which is really cool because then you identify with a certain mm, yeah, movement or thought, and you have a large group and you belong to that group, which is what the human nature is always longing for.
Yes, and this is also something when you look at Germany, Austria, I don't know, Switzerland, maybe. Let's say maybe focus on the German-speaking countries. Merchandise for them is either allocated with super famous brands. I want to show that I love, I don't know, Nike, Adidas, whatever. Or you need like funny printings, like I don't know. I guess only a few people would be interested in wearing a shirt of Pinot Pixel podcast. But if it would say a glass of wine every day keeps the trouble away, people would buy it probably. But this is less merch. It's more about like fancy shirts. In the US and also in the UK, you have people that buy like sweaters where you just have the brand logo on your I don't know, on the chest or on the back or
Mm.
whatever, for 40, 50 quid, because they just want to show I like the place, I like to be there, I like to identify with them. And this is different, at least at the moment, to Germany. I talked to some winemakers last year in Indiana. It's not a region that is quite famous for their wine growing in the US. And there was this guy with a garage winery, and he says, in good months, I sell 50 sweatshirts. This guy has
But
8,000 bottles a year.
but is it also maybe because the quality of the garments is really good? Because
I
actually,
mean,
if I find a sweater that is just very fluffy and nice to wear, then I also basically don't really care what's on it. And I mean, yeah, for example, the brand, it's a very um yeah, common example, but Deus Ex Machina from I don't even know where they were founded, but they created such a huge movement just with their nice t-shirts and yeah, merchandise. It really created
hmm,
this reputation that everybody wanted to be part of it.
okay, but is this brand
But
building
maybe you
connected
can
to the
create
community?
the yeah, maybe you have
Probably.
to yeah, have to sell your sweaters as well. Who knows?
Let's see.
I
I'm a
think there
big
might be a
fan.
market.
I'm generally a big fan because if you are able to give people high quality products that last long, maybe are even sustainably produced, and you have the ability to give them a smile and put them a smile on their face because there's a funny joke or whatever. And when they're wearing it, they put smile on the faces of the people that read it. And if this is $40, sounds interesting, I would say.
You were speaking about that panel that also spoke about the problems in the non-alcoholic sphere. I'm really interested in
Mhm.
that. Would you like to share about that?
Sure. When the connection went bad, I said, I have some takeaways for you from the panel.
Okay, perfect.
We're like soul brother and sister, so
Two.
super interesting. Yeah, I mean, they talked about the current development, that more people are interested in it, that people are drinking less. So everything we already have talked about, and I guess
Mm,
we don't have to at the moment. What was really interesting to me were some things they said. Two things. One thing is the same as in wine or in beer. We need storytelling. So when we want to build up
Mm.
brands, we want to push the movement. We need storytelling, and not only this. I had cancer. I had to get rid of alcohol, and then I discovered that there's many stuff. This is important. No discussion, but more like this positive mindset going towards alcohol, saying alcohol free, saying I'm not interested in alcohol. I don't need the booze. I just need like the enjoyment of a really good product. So this could be part of the storytelling. And the second thing is, and this was probably the biggest takeaway for me in general, we have to change our wording when we talk about alcohol free stuff. And I noted down some things. Um, it's better to say curious instead of sober. Sober is such a weird word because usually it should
Because
be your normal state.
yeah, and it's always connected to being addicted. And people don't really identify with an addict. Either way, if they are maybe abusing alcohol or if they don't, it's just not something that will work marketing wise. So I completely agree.
Or at least you have the franchise built up.
Yeah.
Second thing is basically the same. Instead of saying anti-alcohol, saying alcohol-free, or use the word alcohol-free, not this
Mm,
anti, like the barrier
yeah.
again. Then what I really loved is there's a brand called Zeno. David is the founder, super nice guy, and he also agreed on being on the pod if we are interested, and we are.
We
And what
are.
they do is they don't write de-alcoholized wine on their bottles. They say liberated from alcohol. I
Oh,
love that.
wow.
Yes. So just this positive language, and the biggest thing for me was instead of drinking moderately, saying mindful. Why that? When you say I drink in moderation, of course it's well intended and it's meant to be a good thing, but moderation always sounds like I want to have fun, but I have to be like very
Yeah, I have
aware
to
of not
limit
doing.
myself. Yeah.
Yes, limits on yourself. And when you say I'm just mindful drinker, I can drink wherever I want, whenever I want. I can party until 3 a.m. and there's nothing about moderation. I can freak the hell out. I'm just high on life, but I don't have to drink alcohol and I don't have to limit myself. And this was probably the most exciting thing for me, talking about mindful drinking instead of drink in moderation. And I don't know. I mean, there is this movement, drink in moderation, and the certificate of my company is there in the back because I'm a part of it, and I always have been since I founded my company. And it's well intended, but I totally get it in communication that this is a better way to say we are focused on mindful drinking instead of limiting ourselves. Yeah.
What kind of certificate are you talking about?
There is this movement. It's called wine in moderation.
Ah, okay.
And you can register your company over there saying I want to be part of this movement. It's for free, and then they send you a certificate after they have checked if yeah you are acting according the rules and stuff. If you are a guy like posting every single week, yeah, fun with alcohol, or I don't know, boozy Friday, and you sell your products because you just want to sell with the fact that there is alcohol in it, or starting the weekend right with alcohol, stuff like that, then probably you won't be able to be on the list of them on their list. But I said drink less but better has always been my claim, and I tell this everybody. And this was way before I started Pinot and Pixel and Double O. It was just like, huh?
Yeah, and I think this is really something that also connects the both of us because we are from our nature very much inclined to drinking mindfully, and that's what we always preach and also do. Like, of course, we drink a glass of alcohol every now and then, or sometimes it can be more, but the mindful thing about it is that we listen to our bodies and we listen to check in really with ourselves. Do we want and need this right now? And what are our intentions with it? And if the intentions are anything else but enjoyment, then we just go away from it. We don't drink for belonging to a group or getting to a certain a level of excitement, because that excitement should be inside of ourselves anyways.
Yes.
Sorry, it's a bit loud here. I'm going to mute myself.
No, it's fine. I haven't heard it. Yesterday morning when was it? Friday night when I recorded Pinot Pixel at the university. I was in a focus group room, which is basically isolated, just to have a good recording in there. It's perfect room for a podcast. But there was a lady passing by maybe every 5 minutes with their high heels, with her high heels. It was like clack, 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 and those are sounds that the microphone is not able to filter. So when you listen to the last episode, 162, every, I don't know, 5 minutes, you have her walking to the kitchen
Shout
and
out
back.
to that girl that is walking around in high heels at
Yes.
university.
What was really exciting, and I want to share this with you, and of course also with the listeners. I met Chrissy from the World Alcohol Free Drinks Awards. So basically, what they do is every year they have an award event going on, so you can hand in your product starting from October until I guess March for half a year. The product is registered, put in the database, and in the end there is a panel of judges, which are quite so people well experienced with alcohol-free drinks, and then they judged it in a blind tasting. So you don't know what you're drinking, you don't know what you're having. Maybe you know that this is a beer, but I guess you can spot that. And then you make a rating on quality and on taste. And in the end, they have medals that they put on the products. Before we start into, I would say, the interesting categories and my favorite products from the London Wine Fair, how would you, because there is many, many ways to do that, how would you divide the category or the movement of alcohol-free drinks, the whole category, into subcategories? What would you see as subcategories? For example, I don't know, either going to a trophy like that, or maybe you want to build up your online shop. How would you put the categories, the subcategories?
I would probably go for those products that had contained alcohol previously. So, for example, wine,
Mhm.
de-alcoholized wine.
Okay.
Then those teas like kombucha or black tea and those infused drinks.
Hmm.
Then maybe spirits like non-alcoholic gin
Okay.
or botanicals. Maybe
Hmm.
even botanicals as its own category.
Okay.
And beer would probably its own category.
So beer,
Non-alcoholic
wine, spirits, and tea.
botanicals. Yeah. And
And
those
botanical is
infused,
as an extra category.
yeah, why not? I mean, it's not the same as tea. And maybe I would put those lemonades and stuff that is just like infused water. Maybe I would put that one into the category of teas because it's all probably water based and something is added.
Hmm.
What about you?
It's tough, isn't it? I struggled exactly the same way because there is hundreds of possibilities to do so. And what I discovered is the deeper the people are into the movement, the category, the nerdier the shop is. When you go to a super nerdy alcohol-free shop, there is at least 30% of words you have never seen before if you're not super deeply into it. For example, have you heard of shrubs?
I heard about it in a podcast. Those are the ones that are, it's probably added vinegar or something like that. Yeah.
Basically kind of this, yeah, vinegar based, put it like this. Yeah. And we talked about it in the very last episode, just one product because I heard the name, but let's really able to try it. This happened at London Wine Fair and interesting. And I discovered a shop that has a separate category for shrubs, but I guess only few people know the word or what is behind it. So mm, I don't know. What I did is for our podcast, I separated it into beer, wine, spirits, kombucha and tea, and verjus and shrub. Because I mean, the one is based on unripe grape juice usually, and the other one is based on vinegar, so you have high acidity. There has never been any alcohol, but this is not like a suggestion or something. It was just how I would put it at the moment, just to give you an overview over the different products. And when we just have a look at the results over here from the alcohol-free awards, they separated into alternative to wine, so wine, beer, cider, meat is one category. Then functional drinks, bitters, kombucha, kefir, tea is one category. Ready to drinks, of course, so cocktails usually in a can. Then shrub is an extra category. Spirit, liquor, aperitif. And what you can see is, for example, there is, let's just take this product over here, Arc Western Ghats. It's called wine and alternative to wine. I don't get the difference actually, but okay. But sometimes there is something called alternative to wine, and I don't know. We have something where we can show functional drink and spirit, for example. It's over here. But yeah, I guess it will take some time to figure out well, how the categories might be good for, especially when you look at your peer group, at your target group, on online shops or in offline stores, whatever. Yes, I would do it like this. We start with the beer, and we talked about how alcohol-free beer can be made. It's either making a normal beer and then removing the alcohol, usually through distillation or vacuum distillation, or you just start the fermentation of the beer and then stop it at 0.5. And of course, it's more difficult when you have an existing brand. Everybody knows, I don't know, take one beer brand in the world, Guinness, for example, because this was very present in England. Everywhere is Guinness. And then you try to make a Guinness, remove the alcohol, and have an alcohol-free Guinness, I don't know, sitting at 0.34, whatever, that is, taste-wise, exactly the same. This is tough. But saying you get 10 beers on the table and people ask you, what would you consider as a beer? I would say 8 out of 10 won't be able to find the alcohol-free beer, because having two, three sips of a product that should taste like beer, um, it's my saying over here is tough to tell the difference. Alcohol-free beer, for me personally, is the product that is developed the farthest and the most at the moment. So you have the possibility, and this is what happened the last 30 years, to convince people of there is really good alternatives. And what is coming up right now is you have, I would say, flavored beers that are more in this either stouty, so very creamy, malty, coffee flavor area, or heading towards this IPA, so tropical beers and stuff like that. And my
And
favorite sure.
did you find a difference? Were you able to find a difference between those two processing methods that you just mentioned? So one being the one where you take out the alcohol of the existing product, and the other one not even letting the alcohol develop fully.
I mean, this is a quite scientific approach to the product, and I guess only few people are nerds like us who are interested in that. I listened to many conversations at the fair, and only few people ask, "How is it made?" It's more like, "Where's the company from? What ingredients do they use? Do other people like this as well? How expensive is it? What does it cost?" But only few people like me ask, "Oh, how is this made? Is this vacuum distillation? Is this reverse osmosis? Can you tell more? What is the pressure level on the bottle?" And usually even the people working for the brand are like, Jeff, I need your help over here. We have a nerd. So basically what
And
I
they
wanted to
just
say,
disappear.
yes. And you know that I do the trip every single year to England, and I thought about including an alcohol-free brand to the trip. So when we are looking for wineries, we are visiting wineries in November. Maybe it would be interesting to visit an alcohol-free winery, brewery, whatever. The problem is usually it's just an office, because the products come from, I don't know, Germany, Spain, South Africa. They're produced somewhere else, and just the office, the distribution happens in the UK. So the people on the fairs usually know the product quite well, but not regarding the quality, or they don't want to be transparent, which is totally fine, on the product itself. So it's quite tough to spot, especially with the bigger brands. Nobody talks about how an alcohol-free Guinness is made. It's just like, this is the experience, this is the alcohol-free experience. By the way, there was no pub I went to that was able to serve the Guinness 0.0. I would love to try it, but wasn't available. I would try this again. So basically, it's tough to find out. I asked for several products for this one as well, and when you try to find it out on the internet, it's tough to figure out blogs or even the descriptions talking about it. This is Ilkley Brewery from England, and what you can see is alcohol-free milk stout. So powered by beer means it has been beer, I guess, and then de-alcoholized and then stuff added. And when you look at the list, where is it? Here, alcohol-free milk stout is the style. So basically, it's like maybe it's like a latte.
And
from
it
the
just
taste.
means that it's what does the word milk have to do with it? Is it just the appearance and that it's creamy like milk, or does it actually have milk in it? Because it sounds like it does.
Yeah, I'm just looking at I guess there is
Chocolate
at
malt.
least milky stuff in it because it says it's not vegan friendly. They have hops in it, they have malt in it for sure. Yeah, it's aromatized with coffee, and this is basically the base taste, the basic taste of it. I really enjoyed it actually. It was
Mhm.
very creamy on the palate. My tasting notes. I have my tasting notes ready. Let me check. Where is it? Alcohol free. Yeah, it was coffee, milk, juicy, creamy, slightly sweet. And what was really interesting was the balance between the sugar and the bitterness of the hops, because you have the hops, but you have also the feeling. And regarding beer, I'm not a big beer fan, but when it comes to beer, I'm more on this stouty, creamy coffee section or part of beer. And this was quite tasty one. I really like that. The interesting thing is they recommend it with pies or oysters.
Yeah, I just
And
wanted
I
to
would
say
say,
that those two things are so far apart. You, of course, ate it
yes,
with
especially
oysters.
when you think, but maybe in England it's a bit different. No, I'm not a super big oyster fan, but I heard the story of English people eating oysters in a different way. It's more like fried oysters.
Oh,
So
of course,
they
it's
are, I would
fried.
say, fuller bodied.
Oh,
I would say it's
okay.
fuller bodied. I don't know, maybe with this one. And they have great pies in England. I discovered a very, very good one. It's called Cornish pasty. It looks like a half circle, like half a moon. Like basically, it's a calzone, but as a pie, and you can fill it up with everything. It's basically you can do this in a vegan way with curry, for example, with chickpeas. You can do this with meat. This is the traditional way: meat and potatoes. So it's meat in your face, potatoes in your face, carbohydrates in your face. This is that size, 2 meals in one portion. It's crazy. And then
And then
beer,
they drink
this looks quite
mindfully.
long. Yeah, sure. Alcohol free. So, I mean, I had some excursions on English food culture, and even though you think that there's only crappy stuff, they have really good stuff. And Cornish pasty was definitely one of the best discoveries during this trip. I talked about that with Tommy at the pod at 161, episode number 161, and I really liked it. There is a cheese culture in England as well. So if you're not vegan and you want to really have good cheese in England, there is one. There's Stilton, there's Old Winchester. I had smoked red Dorset, the best cheese I have had so far in England. And when you have an alcohol-free product that has maybe some bubbles, that is high in acidity, maybe big, fuller bodied, it could work. Yeah. So beer-wise, this was definitely my favorite. There were some IPAs as well at the fair, and if you want to have a general taste, not talking about beer, but if you want to know which products have been at the alcohol-free world, at the alcohol-free drinks awards, then just have a look at the website. The link is in the show notes, and then you can filter yourself
Do you
through
have a
the list.
favorite
Klausthal
shrub?
also. Oh yeah, I do have. Because I mean, I'm a nerd. The order is a bit different. After beer comes wine, then the
Okay, let's
spirits,
go with wine
then
first.
kombucha tea, and then shrub.
Okay, then let's go
Wine,
with
I
your
mean,
order.
shrub, I put in the end because it was super exciting to taste that. Wine wise, I guess we both have tasted a lot in the last months. And funny enough, I wasn't able to try all the products of Corona Null before London Wine Fair, but then Corona Null was at London Wine Fair, and I was able to drink the whole portfolio. And what they also had was an aged Riesling. So it was a Riesling that they de-alcoholized in. Let me check. This is unprepared. I guess in 2019, Corona Noble, Riesling. Yes, it's a Riesling from 2019, and then 4 years in bottle, de-alcoholized, only 1,000 bottles available. And the interesting thing was you had this slightly petrol on the nose. And
Oh,
Corona Null did
wow.
that to show that it is able, if you want to do that, to age alcohol-free products. At least the base quality must be at a higher level. Same with every product, I would say. If you want a final product of high quality, you need the good base product. Um, it was exciting to taste that, and of course, there's some scarcity in it because there's few bottles available. It was just 1,000 bottles in total produced, but if you have a very good alcohol-free product, I don't know, just it can also be from the portfolio of Colonel Null, and I had tasted the 2022 Riesling. This was more my favorite because taste-wise, more complex, more interesting. Just my personal opinion, of course, but I won't need this product to age. This is what I want to say. Maybe it's different with tea. I don't know, but with alcohol-free wine, doesn't have to be. Thank you anyway to Colonel Null. But what I wanted to say is there was another quite interesting product, and I already mentioned that, talking about the communication. The company is called Zeno. The two people that were at the fair were some of the nicest at the whole fair. David is the founder of the company, and he was also part of the panel talking about communication and what has to change. And he had a very young and very nice lady with him. Her name was Gina Holsworth, and she was responsible for social media. And she's not a wine girl at all. She just entered the space a couple of months ago, but she was so excited. She had so much energy talking about this product, about the brand, about the category. And when you just look at the social media, what has changed since she started working for him, and how exciting everything is for her and also for the community. Super cool. And when we talked about having a podcast together, so Double O featuring Zeno, I said I want to have Gina on the podcast as well, because I want to have somebody on the pod talking with such an energy on a category that only few people get, and where you have a lot of people saying, traditional wine, don't take away the alcohol. And she's so like, I'm not a wine girl, I come from a different category, but I love it. And I was just like, all in. So
Yeah, that sounds really authentic, really inspiring. And that's exactly the storytelling part that you were referring to.
this is what we were talking about in the beginning of the pod. Welcome to Zeno Prestige Alcohol Liberated Wines. This is what I loved about the product, because they don't talk about de-alcoholization. Of course, there is rules where you have to say this has been wine, and we remove the alcohol just to give um, the secure feeling to the consumers. This is fine, but just on the front label it says Zeno alcohol or liberated from alcohol, and I really like that one. Interesting branding, and my favorite product from them, I guess it was this one. Let me check. I mean, this is super subjective, but the white, yes, it's made of Macabeo, so the base one is Macabeo, so basically I would say made in Spain. Super aromatic. Banana juice was the main flavor, and this is what I really liked about it, because usually banana in a wine only, or mainly when it's very very young, so freshly filled on the bottle, and some wineries even they don't want to have this banana smell, this the banana taste. But this wine, it was medium bodied. The acidity was not super high, but was high enough to balance this. It's quite low in sugar. Did I write the sugar level?
When I think about banana, I always think about Chardonnays.
Yeah. Mm, Passion fruit, pineapple is usually a thing. Bananas, yeah, yeah. Let me check if there is something at the website. Additional information. No. Interesting. Here it says viewer. I wrote. Maybe it's another bottle. It could be this is not the white. Yeah. Nevertheless, nice product. Easy drinking. Also a label that were quite approaching to me. I like the labeling, the branding, and screw cap. And this is also a question that I ask more often because there were only few products with cork, and they said, "Yeah, English market is fine. They're used to Cloudy Bay and others. Screw cap is not a thing in the US. It's not a thing in the UK. If you want to go to the French market, it might be a thing. Germany is okay with it. So, yeah, my favorite alcohol-free wine at the fair. And right now, we come to spirits. And of course, spirits is a tough category because it's a huge category. As you said, usually you would say when you're regarding alcohol, tequila, vodka, gin, rum, whiskey, whatever they're called. And alcohol free, it's even more difficult because usually there has never been any alcohol in it. You just try to imitate. So it's a gin look-alike, a whiskey look-alike, something like this. But basically, you have water and you put stuff in it, color, aroma, and try to copy the original one. And it's quite tough because usually 40% alcohol give structure and body to a drink, and you have the sharpness of the alcohol in the end. And there's only one company I know, Sober Spirits, that de-alcoholizes spirits and is able to manage at least the mouthfeel of the original product. And then they add aromas to also copy the taste. But there was a product, mind blowing, just mind blowing. It was a tequila. It's a brand called Free Spirits. It's quite expensive. Uh, the bottle looks exactly like a tequila. It's agave based. You you get a shot, a small shot. You smell it and you think you have tequila in the glass. You know this smell where you usually think just give me cinnamon and an orange, nothing else. This is totally fine. And then just the shot, ready, and then you drink it. It tastes like tequila. And then what they did is they added the trick we all know, ginger, and then you have the sharpness.
Mm.
And there was a guy standing
Mm.
next to me, was like, "Oh, you have tequila." And we looked at each other and was like, "What the hell is that?" That was so crazy. So if you are a fan and you can't get rid of your, I don't know, Long Island iced tea, whatever, or your tequila sunrise, this is great product for that.
And for all the people that also hate tequila as much as I do, this is probably the first tequila that we would love to try and to actually drink and enjoy.
Yes. And it's also tough to find out how it's made. Because what you can see is it's less than 0.5 ABV. But I wasn't able to find out if this is de-alcoholized, partly de-alcoholized, if it's I don't know, juice that has been added up with some tequila. I have no clue. But the taste was just crazy. And if you look at that, there's some sugar in it, so very few, 2 grams. Interesting. And they have a bigger portfolio on spirits, but this was definitely the best one.
If
And I
someone
was
from Free Spirits is listening to this, please let us know how you did this.
maybe we can get them on
Because
the pod.
it's also good for their marketing and for advertising the product if they can either say it was a tequila before, like an alcohol containing tequila, and then they remove the alcohol, because this really tells the end consumer, okay, this is a high quality thing because it's the spirit was in it. It was just taken out. Of course, you can argue that it's a lot of resources that are used to remove alcohol, but on the other hand, I think for the consumers, it's a bit of a more valued feeling to have a drink that is not just infused water and then they pay 37 bucks
Yes,
for it.
exactly. Um, yeah. So one more of my takeaways is that there is so much going on in the area, and when we stay curious, we discover products like that, and we can have enjoyment in a way. Because if you like the taste of agave, and I mean, does tequila really have a taste? This can be discussed because it's quite intense in alcohol, but this one, well-made product. Link is in the show notes. And right now, the two categories we all have been waiting for. One is kombucha and tea, and the other one is Verjus and Shrub. When it comes to kombucha, I was attracted by a label where you were only able to see a mustache, so a mustache, like what was the name of the guy? Magnum. Do you know Magnum?
Wow, what a cool name. It looks like a
You,
movie. It sounds like a movie character.
you don't know him? Magnum? It was a series from the 80s where this guy was driving around with his car wearing the mustache.
I'm a
Um,
90s girl.
it's okay. But why am I telling that? The brand is called Kombustache. It's a French brand, so it's a combination of kombucha and
Yeah,
mustache.
yeah,
The owner,
thanks.
I guess, has a mustache. So Kombustache was the product, and I was also able to taste this at the stand of the Alcohol Free Awards. It's called La Perle Noire, so the Black Pearl. And it was a super interesting product because it was not only this what you might know from kombucha in general, but it also had um, like a touch of vegetables and smoke. I mean, look at the color. I don't know if am I able to? Yes, look at the color. It looks like coffee.
Yeah, it looks a little bit like the beer that you showed in the first category.
Yes, and
And
it was
how
sparkling.
and in terms of sugar?
It's 40 gram, so it was quite okay. 4 grams per 100. Um, my tasting notes said it's creamy, it's black tea, basically. So 40 grams of sugar,
Ah.
slightly sweet, medium acidity, but in a good balance. Caramel flavors and smell as well. Super like this roasted caramel, what you might expect from what is it called? The crème caramel, flan? No, not flan.
Oh,
Flan is the
yeah.
frosted cake. Crème catalane or cream caramel. Yes, and it was for me personally. This is a wine and food, or not, sorry, a food pairing product because you have such a variety of aromas. You have some acidity, you have some sugar. So at gastronomy, I don't know. It it doesn't matter if it's a whole meal with vegetables with meat, so a heavier meal, or as a dessert pairing or something. There's a lot of ways I can imagine that product to go with gastronomy, and it's well made. The branding is really good, and of course, it stays in your mind, even though you might not be familiar with French wordings. But combustage, combustage, could work like that.
Yeah, especially if you are at a very nice restaurant and you have 7 small courses and every of these courses is accompanied by a glass of anything like either wine or non-alcoholic products, and maybe you just want to have that balance, maybe you have to drive afterwards, then it's so lovely to have the option of having something like this to go with your dessert, or maybe this would also pair with the oysters in the UK. And as a gastronomer, you should just offer both of this and not yeah, just don't give the people the feeling that one of them is less good than the other, because this looks like a product that is so well thought of and conceptualized and then executed that it's for me it's basically the same quality, but without alcohol. And yeah, maybe some people are just drinking because they want to have this feeling of booziness. But if you are just in a restaurant or at a diner experience to really enjoy it, then yeah, open up for these kinds of products.
And as I said in the last episode, to me personally, looking at gastronomy, the kombucha and tea category is the most exciting one because there has never been any alcohol, or maybe only a very low percentage, according to the tea fermentation process. But it's for wine and food pairing. It's a super exciting product, and
Yeah,
usually you
because
have
they
a
have
palate like that.
tannins.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
they
have
have
tannins.
tannins. They have so many aromas, like the complexity that you always look for in a wine that
Exactly.
can be easily found in a kombucha or in a tea.
Yeah. And though there are the other ones, I was only able to taste the left one. By the way, it was a super interesting concept they had. They were there for 3 days, so the World Alcohol Free Awards, and every day they had other products to taste from the products that have taken part in the competition. And on one day there was La Perle Noire, and I really love that, and it's quite similar. I mean, it's kombucha based, tea based, but it reminded me a bit. Also, when you look at the portfolio they have, I'm currently showing with the three different styles, I would say it reminded me of Saicho, the one we had in the show last week, where you have the entry level easygoing thing as an aperitivo, then you had the more powerful one in the middle with the smoked tea, and then you had the jasmine flavored one for the desserts. So basically, you can do the whole menu at a restaurant with a high quality product where you can also sit together with people like us and just chat about it for 15 minutes if you want to. For restaurants, gastronomy, food pairing, really cool. And of course, also because the Alcohol Free Awards were giving us all this kind of stuff to taste, this was my shrub. It's called Jukes. The company is called Jukes, and the person behind is a guy that has been famous for wine writing, for wine tasting in the last, I would say, 30 years. And he invented this product. It's a shrub. It's vinegar based, and then he added aromas to the product to make it taste um, in a way that reminds you of your favorite sparkling wine, your favorite wine, whatever. Yes, at the moment, it's three products. It's Juice 1, a sparkling white. It's the sparkling red, Juice 6, my favorite product. And Juice 8, the sparkling rosé. So this is the sparkling category. It's a can. So basically, it's a base product, and then you add some CO2. Super fresh, super aromatic, the complexity layers were there, so this guy knows what he's doing. And I mean, in every single range, there were the awards winning all the way down to, I guess it was every product, wasn't it? Yeah, gold, silver. There was a fourth one I wasn't able to taste, unfortunately, because it's sold out. It's a sparkling Pinot Noir drink, and you can imagine how sad I was not to be able to drink that. But yeah, super interesting product as well in can, made for gastronomy, of course, also for B2C, but made for gastronomy as well. Yeah, and this was a product that reminded me a bit of light, fresh reds, light, fresh whites. And the branding, for me, on point because it
It
looks
looks
like
so
quality.
cool.
Yeah, it's like a bit
Yeah.
of like understatement. It's just white label, black letters, black number, simple.
And we didn't really, at least I didn't find a shrub in Germany. I think in Germany this is a very underestimated category, which I hope will change soon. So I also Googled how to do that myself. And it's actually possible to create your own shrub. Maybe not as fancy as this one, but it's possible. And we hear a lot that it's so healthy for your gut to drink vinegar in the morning. I do this, like, I don't know, since I was 16, at least I have periods of doing it. And it's really beneficial for your gut health because it has these fermented things, and it just helps with digestion and hormonal balance, etc. And I would guess that you have at least some of that effect as well with jukes or with shrubs in general. So you could say this is not only an alternative for wine, but it's also a highly functioning drink. It's highly functional drink. It's really beneficial for your health.
Yeah, and if you could combine the enjoyment with health, it's a no-brainer, isn't it? The only
Yeah.
kombuchas I have known in the last, I don't know, 15 years were those super expensive juices in very ugly brown bottles in a organic supermarket. But when it comes to wine and food pairing, when it comes to food pairing, only few products. I guess because we had one, two, three, four, five products, we don't have to talk about the drink of the week anymore this episode. But I have another great hot recommendation, not only for the listeners, also for you. I don't know if you, Bella, use Vivino as an app for your wine tastings. I did in the past until I got
Yeah.
bored because I tasted too many wines and I don't know. But there is an app. It's called Better Without, the world's first app for alcohol-free discovery. So what they basically did is they took the idea of Vivino, rating wines, looking for wines, where to buy them, and combined it with the latest news of the industry and the places where you can just have them. I don't know, restaurants, bars, bistros.
Yeah, because that is a very important part because it doesn't really help you to just know, oh, this product exists because look at how many products we are knowing of, but we've never tried them just because they aren't available in Europe. And
Yeah.
also this app is currently only available in the UK, USA, Canada, and Australia. But
It's
hopefully
available
soon.
everywhere. Only the fact is, if you want to buy something or if you want to
Yeah.
discover where to buy it in a shop or in a local restaurant, they only have places in those four countries: UK, US, Canada, Australia. But I downloaded it, I tested it. There's many drinks available. You can rate them. You can just have your notes on it. You can read the latest news, like we have in our No Booze News. And one day, maybe your country will be there. And until then, just enjoy what's on there. So you can download it, even though you're not living in one of those four countries. At least I was able to. So it should
Yeah, I
work.
will definitely do that. Yeah.
And I like the app more because it doesn't get on my nerves to buy wine every single second. And this what has changed with Vivino, unfortunately.
Do you know how
But
they make money?
them, I don't know. Maybe there is a
Okay.
provision model behind it, and sometimes it's advertisement. I have no clue. Maybe they also are heading towards something different, but I really enjoy what I've seen during my research, and this has been maybe 2 hours. But I will do some tasting notes, and there is a reward system behind it. I don't know if you have rated 5, 10, 15 wines, whatever. And this is what kept people engaged at Vivino. So why shouldn't it work at Better Without? And I like the name, by the way, Better Without.
Yeah.
I really like it.
How many recommendations or ratings did you submit to Vivino? Like, what's your status there?
It was a couple of thousand, and there was a time where I
Wow.
was placed, what is it, 13 or so in Germany. But it was
I had
during the
no
busy time.
idea.
Yes, there was busy times in wine tastings during, when was it? 2019, when I studied international wine marketing and WSET in parallel. And I mean, you go to a fair, you have 50 tastings, you take down your notes, and then you add up what you'd have in the restaurants and private tastings. So it was a lot.
And it's great because on the one hand, it helps you to remember what you tasted, and on the other hand, yeah,
Yeah.
people are able to follow you, and if they like your taste or they find your taste very objective, then it's great. What's your name if people are looking for your profile on Vivino?
Alexander Gottschalk, probably.
Yeah,
I have no
probably.
idea.
Okay.
There's just one. My name is not super popular, so if there's a guy with, what is it, 2,500 recommendations or so, reviews, then it might be me. But I'm enjoying more this one, and there's a list on my desk over here with. Look at this. This is all the reviews I have. I still have to put somewhere to remember then, because I'm not good in paper.
Yeah, and
Okay.
that way you can access it from everywhere. Great. Yeah, you'll
Yes,
probably be number one, number one ambassador and submitter of recommendations on Better
maybe.
Without Power
Yes.
User.
So if you're interested
All
in
right.
discovering your next wine, give some reviews on what you drank. This might be your app. Unpaid advertisement, by the way. We haven't paid for we haven't been paid for anything we talked about. Just some discovery at London Wine Fair. And sorry to say that, Bella, once again, but go on the website, look at London Wine Fair 2025, because we have to go there.
Next year, definitely.
Yeah.
Maybe you should book the flights now.
Could be an option. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much for that wrap up. It was a lot of talking for you, but I really enjoyed it. I hope listeners enjoyed it as much as I did, because it was really, really insightful. It was great to hear that UK is so much on the forefront and that we can learn a lot from UK and take them a little bit as an example, because yeah, in Germany, shrubs should be available everywhere as well. And it's just an outlook of what is possible, because it's so close. And I would love to see Germany being on that radar for everything as much as US and Canada and UK is. And that's what we are here to do.
And the thing what we didn't talk about is the availability of products like that at a specific quality level in supermarkets, in retail. When you go to a supermarket in Germany or in Austria, there is just the super entry level stuff of the bigger brands between, I don't know, 3 and 8 euro maybe. But when you go to supermarkets such as, I don't know, Waitrose, for example, in England, you have high quality alcohol free products between 15 and 25 quid. This should definitely be a thing for Germany. And I mean, I'm discovering it right now that some of my customers are interested in building up their alcohol-free portfolio, because they see the business opportunity, they see that something is going on, and that gastronomy is interested in those products. Looking forward to it.
Me too. Yeah, I'm just thinking about the probably different distribution between how gastronomy and end customers get their booze-free products in Germany and in the UK. Maybe in Germany, it's much more the online shop of a specific product, or shops that are specified on either drinks, or shops that sell organic food. Those are sometimes the only shops where you can easily get those kinds of products. And it was also the same, and not the same in the Netherlands. In the Netherlands, I think they were also much more open to have those products available in basically everywhere.
So Germany, look out for the other countries.
It works there. It will also work here.
We'll see. So thank you for your time. Thanks for joining from Portugal. Enjoy your stay over there. And guys out there, have fun. Have a great week. See you next week on Monday.
Thank you so much, Alex. And thank you, everyone, for listening. This was a long episode. We hope you can take something away from it. And last takeaway should be to start your week right by making conscious decisions.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Ciao, ciao.